What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bringing It to the Ring podcast with myself and Willie Does Wrestling, or AKA Will Wrestling Corner. As you guys see, the name change. He decided to go for a gimmick change this time around as we head into Wrestlemania season. So, my guy Willie, how you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. It's a new day. Yeah, I can't wait to do this podcast.
Definitely. I mean, I think the last time we were together, I think was before Elimination Chamber, actually.
Yeah, right
So
before it.
right before Elimination Chamber, and as since then, we've seen a lot of things happen. We've seen John Cena turn heel.
Yeah.
We were gonna talk about some other things, but we got to talk about Elimination Chamber. How do you feel that John Cena is officially a heel and facing Cody Rhodes in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2? I presume.
I think it's awesome. I knew that Cena was going to be the one to face Cody
Hmm.
Rhodes. I said it in every single predictions video ever. But I did not see Cody turning heel one bit. I mean, Cena turning heel
No.
one bit because this is nuts that
Yeah.
21 years he's been a babyface ever since
Hmm.
like late 2003. Like he's
Yeah.
been a babyface almost as long as I've been alive. And my man
Pretty
is
much.
now
Yeah.
a heel.
Yeah.
So I think it's crazy. And I can't wait for whenever he's going to come back. He's coming back on Raw
Yeah.
next week. So that is going to be absolutely crazy. Um, and I just hope that these two make this build worth it. That these two have a lot of promo battles. Cena is involved, appears a lot, because otherwise I feel like the build could be a little bit lackluster. But from what we have right now, I think it's absolutely perfect.
I would definitely agree with you. I think a lot of people going into it, I think from a fan perspective, it really came down to literally like Cena and Punk. I think those were
Yeah.
two like your favorites going into that. Like Cena made sense. You could have made an argument for Punk based off what we did see between him and Cody, but it seemed like as if Punk wasn't going to turn heel. And I know a lot of people will make the case that he was going to be the quote unquote the Rock's champion, but it just didn't make sense because of how CM Punk's character is. He's always been that guy who's been against the authority, not really the type of guy that wants to align with the authority. So it made sense from a booking perspective for it to be Cena. A lot of people even said Logan Paul, but I don't think people really would want to see Logan Paul be in the main event of WrestleMania. So it just made sense for
Yeah.
it to be Cena. But when it happened, I kid you not, it literally just in the blink of an eye he turned because it looked like he was just all happy to see Cody Rhodes and everything like that. But before that, you were definitely teasing. They were definitely teasing a heel turn because like when he was had Punk in the STF, he actually was applying pressure. Usually, it looks like a lot of times when he uses that move, he's phoning it in. But no, he was using legit pressure on Punk to put him away. And at the same time, he says, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I have to do this."
Yeah.
That's definitely going to tease something between these two, maybe post Mania if we decide to get to this feud. Because I think I would love to see these two face at Money in the Bank. How poetic that pay per view would be if we get these two competing, especially if Cena does win that championship, which I think he should. But like, just imagine how cool that match would be. Just how poetic would be with Punk and Cena competing for the championship all these years later at Money in the Bank, where we've seen Punk beat Cena the first time around. That's just gonna be a whole like poetic feeling for everybody who's been a fan of the product this long up until this point. So it made sense, but like the fact that when he was hugging none other than Cody, he literally just went from smiling to like an evil, demonic look instantly and low blowed him with a kick to the nuts, Shinsuke style,
Yep.
and literally he's a heel and nobody knows what and the fact is he doubled down on the heel turn is like he went to the backstage press conference, right? He didn't even say anything. He just picked the mic, looked at it, dropped it, walked out.
Yeah, I saw that press conference. I laughed my absolute ass off
I'm just so ready for Raw, and it's crazy that Raw is gonna be earlier in the day for like the next 3 weeks. Like this
Yeah,
week, it's gonna be at 3 p.m. or 2 p.m. my time.
2
So that's
p.m. your time,
crazy.
3
Yeah,
p.m. like my time. I'm gonna still
that's
be at
crazy.
school. I'm gonna still be at school at that time. I'm gonna make sure to sit in the back of the class, have my phone over, have my headphones in. Monday Night
Hey, you
Raw.
gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Hey
You gotta
man,
do
I
what you gotta
need
do.
to. It's a heel Cena.
And it's like he's gonna be there. Cody's gonna be there. I just
Yep,
want to see what his promo's gonna look like. What is his presentation gonna be like now that he's a heel? Are we gonna
with
get
the
a theme
theme.
song? There's the theme song. I don't think we can use the theme song he has. He's always been having. We need like a heelish theme song that is meant for him. Like I know one theme song that I was watching during the Marine, like the original Marine movie that he played a part in. At the end of the theme, the song, the movie, there was a song that came on. It was called "If It All Ended Tomorrow," and he had a part in that song. I think that would be a song I could see him fitting with his character because a lot of the things that they said in the song kind of fit what his character is now, like selling his soul. And there was a part in the song where he said he's driving on the Grim Reaper highway that kind of fits because if you want to be honest, The Rock is the Grim Reaper of this whole storyline, trying to take people's souls and stuff like that. So I think that is something I would like to see, but like I'm so surprised that he's gonna be a heel. Is he gonna wear a suit on
Oh
Monday?
man.
Because if he's gonna wear a suit, that's one thing. But if he comes out in the jorts and he just and then like they had a lot of the memes that came out of Elimination Chamber is like where he has the Make a Wish Foundation and he just says break a wish. That's gonna
Yeah.
be funny. The reactions of the kids reacting, oh my god, they were heartbroken, bro.
I saw a whole lot of like kids watching the chamber. Those kids were crying. Those kids were like, "No, why would you do that?" It's just, oh man.
I
That
feel
was us
bad,
at
bro.
one point. That was us at one point. We thought that shit was real, man. Holy shit.
I think the one time I could remember being as a kid, or at least younger, probably in like my teenage years, probably is like when I saw the Shield breakup. I think that's like the biggest thing that's actually got me in my feels for it because I'm like, bro, I like all three of these guys. All three of these guys came up together, run shut up the entire WWE, went undefeated for a long time, feuding with these legends. And literally, when they went 2-0 on Evolution, bam, Seth Rollins turns heel.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, what did y'all just do? But like, this is on a different level because I don't think we've seen a heel turn to this magnitude probably since like Hulk Hogan back in 96, 97. That was the
Yeah.
last time we seen a heel turn that has been this generational. But as of right now, I think John Cena has surpassed Hulk Hogan as far as heel turn wise because this is something nobody could have ever saw coming.
Yeah,
I
because with
don't.
Hulk Hogan, just like John Cena was the generational baby face, the ultimate baby face, the fan favorite. But you always knew Hulk Hogan had that little part of him that was, now we meme on
Mhm.
it. That's not gonna work for me, brother. You know what I mean?
Right.
And John Cena, sure, as much as people want to say, oh, but there was the Nexus, oh, there was
Oh,
this, there was
brother.
that, blah, blah, blah. Oh, look at his stuff from Total Divas, which I've seen a lot. But
Oh,
in terms of a
brother.
WWE standpoint, he was the ultimate babyface. He was like that for 20 goddamn years, and nobody saw this
Mhm.
coming. We thought he was going to go on this big retirement tour, ultimate babyface, ultimate underdog. Will he, won't he with the championship? And now it's
Mhm.
just like that,
He's a
everything
heel.
changes. I've even seen a lot of people make theories that, hey, what if December comes around and Cena's like, psych, I'm not retiring. Not
That
until I
would be
win that
so
belt.
crazy. That would
You
be
know,
kind of crazy, but knowing Cena, I feel like he is the type of person that when he means that he wants to leave, he means what he's saying. But
yeah,
that would be kind of cool for his heel character if he were to do that. I do think kind of what we're gonna do is he's gonna be heel probably up until maybe SummerSlam, and then maybe
that's what I think.
Post SummerSlam, that's where we'll start to see him transition back into being a babyface. Because I do think he might win it at Mania and then lose it at SummerSlam. I feel like
Yeah,
he
I
can
don't think
have
his
at least like
reigns.
gonna be long or lengthy.
Yeah, I don't think it's
I
going to
don't
be
think it.
long. At least like 1 or 2 defenses just to really like add ticket sales. Like he's going to be at Saturday night's main event. He could defend the belt over there. Money in the Bank. He can defend it against Punk.
He probably will be at SummerSlam, so that's like 3 defenses, and then maybe if there's a Saudi show in there, because I think there is gonna be a Saudi show.
That's what I think too. Well, I think there's a Paris show,
So
isn't it?
we'll probably get that as well.
Clash in Paris. We'll probably get
Clash,
Styles
but
there.
that was September.
Oh, my
That's
bad.
September. So
Yeah,
that's in September. So it's like post SummerSlam. So we might get like maybe 4, maybe 5 defenses between some
maybe.
Mania and SummerSlam, which is not that all bad. But that was probably one of the biggest things to happen on the show. But besides that, we got to talk a women's elimination chamber, because that probably, in my personal opinion, the women's chamber match probably is like that for this year is probably like my all-time favorite one. Probably since 2018.
For women's?
I feel like it's got to be up there with probably one of the best ones that we've got so far.
Well, yeah,
'Cause
most of the women's chambers have fallen off, or it's like they're
yeah.
so forgettable.
Mhm.
And the field for this year's women's chamber was actually pretty sick.
Yeah.
But obviously, Jade Cargill, she comes in
That's one of the reason why, yeah. She came in
wrecked.
with the all black. She came in with the all black while most of these women had all white. She came in all black like she was about to pull a drill. She
Yeah,
literally came in there, looked like she's about to tag Liv, because Liv said, "Please, please don't do it." And then she
it
looked,
wasn't me.
Bianca, no, not Bianca. Jay was looking at Liv. He says, "Yeah, it was you." And it goes straight for Liv, and then boom, at the last second hits Naomi. And then if you seen the video on Twitter where it's like where Bianca's in the pot and she's screaming. She's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" It was so funny because it's like, bro, she deserves an Oscar for her performance. I'm gonna be honest. Like, she was selling that heartbreak and
Yeah.
portrayal. And literally, she was literally sent Naomi to the upper room with that performance. I thought she was gonna be written off for at least maybe like a month, maybe a month and a half or something like that. Or at
That's what
least
I
till
thought.
like around a week or 2 out from WrestleMania will get her return. But no, she came back recently the very next week. So it's like, bro, at least let her sell the injury a little bit, like make it believable.
Well, she
Like
wore
she literally,
she wore a neck
I
brace.
mean, I mean, yeah, but like she literally slammed the whole structure on her neck. I'm thinking she's gonna at least be selling some type of neck injury where she's gonna be out for a couple weeks.
She's
Then
got
maybe
the
like
neck
a
brace.
2-3 weeks out, she comes back. But it's gonna make things interesting because now it seems like we're gonna get Naomi and Jade, which
Yeah,
I think maybe based on what we've been seeing, I do think Naomi is going to get her some backup, because I think the Meta-4 girls and Last Legend and Jakara Jackson are going to be coming in as her hit, like her lackeys. I think that is something I could personally see playing out in WrestleMania, as far
uh,
as potentially getting her the upper hand in a sense, because it seems like if you look at it from on paper, Jade Cargill looks like she probably would destroy Naomi.
well, she will. She will definitely
She's
destroy
going to
Naomi.
destroy
She's
her.
going she's if they end up coming in, doesn't matter. Jade's gonna 3-on-1 those girls. Easy.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like
It
they're gonna
seems
get
as if, yeah.
wrecked. But the funniest thing when I watched the chamber back, because I was working during the women's elimination chamber match, when I saw, like, I think the match started, like the bell rang, and then Jade's music hits. She's all storming into the ring, badass evil fucker.
Yeah.
The door's still open. Who the fuck forgot to close the door before the referee rang the bell?
I'm not gonna lie. I knew Jay was gonna come back, but I felt like she was gonna pull an Undertaker from 2010, come
Yeah, that's what I
underneath the
thought.
ring, and then attack potentially whoever attacked her in the ring or whatnot. But like, I think the chamber itself, I think it was a little bit better this year than previous years, because you had different stories playing throughout the match. Like you had Bailey and Roxanne, even though they didn't really touch on that as much as I thought they would have. But
Yeah.
I don't know what the path is for them now, because I don't think that match is gonna even make WrestleMania
Well, I
compared
think
to a
it
couple
will
weeks
be
ago.
stand and deliver. They can probably have
Maybe
a
Stand
stand and deliver.
Deliver. I know people were throwing out the idea maybe Bailey and Roxanne get involved with Lyra Valkyria, and that becomes a triple threat for the IC title, which
That
I
would be good.
wouldn't be upset about, because it would give Bailey a title to go after, and this would be something helpful for Roxanne to go after her first championship and make a splash on the main roster. But she's been still heavily involved in NXT, so I don't think her call up, quote unquote, is official to me post WrestleMania at this point. Especially with her feuding with Jordan Grace recently, I feel like that story is going to probably continue for a couple more weeks. So I think that they're going to do there. And then Bayley lost this past week on Raw to Raquel Rodriguez.
Yep. What are we doing?
And apparently, and it was literally official that whoever won that match was number one contender for the IC title. So this means we're getting Raquel versus Lyra Valkyria for the IC championship. Probably next week on Raw or in the coming weeks, I would say.
I think it's next week. And then for the men's IC title next week,
Finn Balor and Braun Breaker.
Finn Balor and Braun Breaker. It's like what they did. It's what they did last week or the week before when two members of American Made went for two different championships. Now they're doing it with the Judgment Day. Original. Thank you.
They're going back and forth between factions.
Who's next? LWO?
And then, I think then we saw Naomi pretty much get eliminated because she couldn't compete. So Liv just had to stand out there, and so wait till the next person came in, which was Bianca. And when Bianca came out of there, she literally tried to go straight out the cage, but Liv says, "That ain't gonna work for me, sister. Get back in this ring." Or she pretty much and I was watching JD from NY. He made a great reference towards the end of the match where Liv was using Bianca's braid to pull her towards the ring and then bounce her off the cage. From the Mortal Kombat, if you play Mortal Kombat, for all my gamers out there, pretty much did the "come here,
get over here."
That was funny, but like I feel like when you look at the lineup, it was gonna come down to Liv and Bianca because those were like your logical two to potentially win, and it was surprising enough that Bayley, if you want to count eliminations, even though I don't really count Naomi's as official, but even though she couldn't compete, but if we're talking elimination in the elimination match, Bayley was the first one to be eliminated, which I did not think was going to happen. She was getting tied up with Roxanne. She turned around to get hit with an Oblivion for 1, 2, 3. Bianca's eliminated. Then you had pretty much Bianca, Liv, and Alexa kind of triple teaming up on Roxanne. But if you want to be honest, from
the lightest woman in the match,
if you want to be honest, if you're any one of those three women, wouldn't your best bet to go after Bianca because she is like the most dominant one in the match?
Yeah, she's the strongest one.
Yeah, she's the most dominant one in the match. So wouldn't you automatically want to get her out of there? Then, so
get that rookie out of there.
Then we get to the final three. It's Liv, Alexa, Bianca. Liv and Alexa have a little bit of history that they're trying to build up from the Royal Rumble. Liv eliminated Alexa from the Royal Rumble. It looks like Alexa's about to put Bianca away. She hit her with the DDT, I presume. Liv literally just comes up from behind her and hits her with the roll-up while pulling Bianca's braid for leverage to get the 1, 2, 3. Alexa is eliminated. And you had that stare off with Alexa just looking down at Liv while Liv is just laughing at her. I'm like, okay, they're teasing something there too. And then we get down to the final two, which I'm going to be honest, Bianca was tearing up Liv Morgan in this match. With that shot with her braid to Liv Morgan, it's not like a shotgun went off. Like, she took a lot of bumps in this match. I did see the picture like the next day. She took a lot of bumps in that match. Now, I know a lot of people might not be the biggest fan of her.
Beating.
A lot of people might not have don't like her as much, but you got to at least have some respect that she went to the distance to do what she did in that match. Because I think she was the MVP. I don't know about you, Willie, but do you think she was the MVP in this match, considering what she did?
Well, yeah, I think she did all right in that match, and I thought she was going to win, which thank God she didn't. But that's neither here or there. But yeah, no, she did very well in that match, and she's won half of the women's tag champs. Like, she's
Mm-hmm.
obviously not gonna win that. And then when Liv and Raquel beat
Bianca and Naomi, the go home show, I
Bianca
believe.
and Naomi, I was like, Bianca's gonna win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's and then pretty much you had towards the end of the match where Liv was trying to go for the Oblivion. I'm gonna be honest, Willie. I feel like Liv might need to change her finisher from the Oblivion, and it's no disrespect to because I think the Oblivion is a decent finisher. But if you want to be honest, every time she goes for an Oblivion, it's always most likely 99% of the time her downfall when she tries to go hit that move. It happened at the Chamber. It happened in the Battle Royal last year when it was her and Becky in the final two. She goes for the Oblivion, get hit with the manhandle slam. She's got to stop. She needs to be more careful when she is trying to use this move because if every single time she goes for it, it ends up costing her the match. And then pretty much she tries to go for it.
She
not
needs to
once,
stick with the code breaker.
or decides to go for something else. Yeah, go for the code breaker or something. Yeah, I think the code breaker would be cool for her. I think she could put away people with that move.
Yeah,
The way she's been doing it. And she goes for it once but twice, and also at the same time, Bianca's trying to go for the KOD. She tries to go for the KOD the first time at the end of the match. She gets hit with the code breaker. Pretty much Bianca is stunned. Liv is going for the Oblivion, gets caught. She's trying to get out of it, but she gets hit with the KOD. 1, 2, 3, and new number one contender for the Women's World Champion at WrestleMania 41, who is also the first two-time Women's Elimination Chamber match winner for the women's side. Now, a lot of people were coming at me. People were thinking me and you had history or beef with each other. I was like, me and Willie don't have beef with each other. I mean, because based off the video that I put, and I even made a disclaimer on a couple podcasts ago that when I made the video, it was me being kind of emotional in the moment. So it's like emotions were running high because I wanted to see her get that moment, and especially with the story that they were building. I felt like it was safe to say that that was going to be the case in some way, shape, or form. And then now that you have literally the Monday Night Raw after Io wins the championship, shockingly enough from Rhea Ripley, I did not think that was going to happen.
That was pretty fire.
I did not think that was going to happen at all.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm like,
I thought when Bianca came out there, I was like, okay, she's gonna screw Io, like to help Rhea retain, and then Io's gonna plead her case to get in the match. But I did not expect Bianca to indirectly help Io win the belt. Like, I don't think any of us expected Io to be the champion heading into this match, or for precious Rhea Ripley's reign to end so short. And yeah, about that personal vendetta video. No, I wasn't beefing with you. I was just like, I saw the thumbnail. I saw the thumbnail and I was like, what the fuck? No. It wasn't beef. It was just me putting my criticizing glasses on. I was like, man, Liv is the most pushed woman on the roster.
No, it's not even that. It's like
that was just look at it. That was me putting my Liv Morgan hitting glasses on. It wasn't against you.
No, people are just, and I told these people before, it's like everybody's entitled to their opinion at the end of the day. Like, as a fan of wrestling, you are going to have your favorites at the end of the day. You're going to want to see your favorites do good. Even if you might not believe it or not. As a fan, you're going to have your favorites. I might like Liv Morgan. Willie might not like Liv Morgan as much as I do, but at the end of the day, we have respect for these wrestlers because of what they do for our entertainment and willing to put their bodies on the line. And you got to at least have respect for that. Now, and for me, I even said it. It's like this was her 6th Elimination Chamber match. I felt like it was kind of almost somewhat of a foregone conclusion. Now, I think the biggest thing is that people didn't want to see Rhea Ripley in the mix. That was the only thing that was really working against Liv Morgan. Now, if it was someone else, potentially, I think yes, we could have that conversation. Liv does deserve it, and I even watched other people who reviewed it. I even watched JD from NY, and he even said Liv Morgan has been having a breakout year as far as from an in-ring perspective. She's been having some great matches in the tag team ranks, even in the singles ranks. And he even said, if we keep showcasing Liv Morgan like we have been doing this year, there's no way we can't have that conversation next year around going into WrestleMania 42. She can't be in one of the potential high profile world title matches next year. I think they're going to do what they did with Bianca, at least have her in the tag team or mid-card division, at least for the majority of this year. And then as we head into later parts of this year, going into next year, I think we start to build her back up to being in the main event scene. And I even seen how we could see Liv and Bianca next year. Now, if that is a potential match that is going to be on the table, I wouldn't mind seeing that match next year because it makes sense. If you go back to what happened last year, Liv and Becky were the final two of the Chamber last year. And what happened? Becky went on to become champion. Liv beat her to become champion. There we go. We have Bianca get the win over Liv in the Chamber. She goes on to face none other than Bianca next year. And maybe Bianca is a heel. Maybe we do turn Liv back into being a face. Although I'm kind of skeptical and on the fence about that because we've seen her as a face before. I feel like her heel run's kind of been a little bit better and a little bit more entertaining than her face run. Not to say that it can't be good as a face. It's just how they go about doing it. You can't have her be in this white baby face where she's kind of was like she was before. If we're gonna do it, add some layers to her as a face. Maybe she's a character where she's a little bit more edgier, where she doesn't take any crap from anybody. She could be, and also get away from the Judgment Day. I think at some point this year, just get her out of the Judgment Day. I think we're definitely going to be on the verge of the Judgment Day disbanding at some point. I just feel like that's just the case. But I had to address that Liv Morgan thing for that point because people thought me and you had beef. I had to clear up the air. There is no beef, you guys. He just gave his opinion, and that's totally fine. We don't see eye to eye on everything, okay?
No.
But literally, it's crazy to think Io Sky beat Rhea Ripley. But what's so annoying is when I saw Rhea Ripley's backstage promo, she takes, the blame for everything that's happened. She says, maybe I'm the problem. Maybe I'm the reason why all this happening to me. She says, maybe this is why Dominic did what he did. Maybe this is why Liv did what she did. I'm the problem. And if she knows she does the next week, act as if that never happened. And she says, no, I'm not the problem. Bianca, you're the problem. You stuck your nose in my business.
Rhea, well, we knew that was going to happen.
Rhea, don't be delusional, ma'am. We saw what you did. You literally started going after Bianca. Bianca was sitting out there spectating. She was out there spectating, and now it gives me
did you not hear the Rhea stands on Twitter be like, Bianca pushed her? It should have been a disqualification, man.
Shut up. Somebody even said this. They said somebody even put on Twitter. It's just like Liv Morgan loses her championship to Rhea Ripley, doesn't complain about it. She puts on good matches and she takes accountability for what's happened. Rhea Ripley, on the other hand, takes accountability for nothing. This is who we're backing going into WrestleMania. That's a laugh. I was like, yo, y'all going in on Rhea Ripley because it's true.
Liv Morgan, tag team champion. That's why she's not complaining. She's a champ again. Thank you.
Hey, and they say who and if people have the meme who has the final laugh, they would say, does Liv Morgan, they put a meme up and this is like Liv Morgan had the final laugh. I took everything from Rhea Ripley, the Women's World Championship, no longer hers. I'm still champion. Bro, I'm like, bro, but definitely on Raw, she just came out there, just ignored, just acted like she was all innocent and like, no. I feel like we're definitely starting to see Rhea Ripley become a heel again. If you want to be honest, her face run was not that all good to me. No. I think Rhea Ripley is just way better as a heel.
Yeah,
it really is.
But here's the thing: like, we all know Triple H loves his Rhea Ripley. This is my we joked about this. This is my brutality is Triple H's equivalent to Glass Shatters 20 years ago. Yeah. Where it's every single goddamn segment. And I don't think Triple H is going to want to make Rhea Ripley babyface again. At least not for the foreseeable future because
Nope.
look at all the merch. Like I'm gonna pull Jey Uso after winning the Royal
Mm-hmm.
Rumble here. Look at how over she is. Look at all the merch she gets. Look at all the little girls
Yeah.
cosplaying as Rhea Ripley in the crowd. I
Yep.
don't
She's
think
up
they're
there
gonna
with
want to turn her
Bianca.
heel. I
I
don't.
don't. So it just gives me reason to believe. I don't think they're gonna turn Io heel because it's like she's literally the underdog in this scenario. So are we
She's
going
an
to
underdog babyface.
exactly? So are we going to have at the very least see if we're not gonna turn Rhea Ripley heel, she's gonna be the tweener of this whole thing? Because I
I
feel
think
like if we're gonna
Bianca is going to be the tweener. You know how she wants to act innocent in the whole whole Jade Naomi thing. I think we could still pull the whole she's the mastermind. So Bianca could be the tweener.
the
Rhea
heel,
could be more of the heel, like at least for the Mania feud, and then Io's the babyface. You have all three
yeah,
personalities.
I will say that's what I think. But like if Jade Cargill is going after Naomi and stuff like that, and I think there is still a possibility Bianca is still having something to do with this. I do think
Mm-hmm.
maybe Bianca does turn heel in the road to WrestleMania where we find out she was the mastermind behind the thing. But it's like I don't know because it's like with everything Naomi said, call her ungrateful. Like, bro, I just don't know. I
I
don't
think that's
know.
ruse. I'm always the kind of person being like they're acting.
Mm,
I mean, way too much
yeah,
crying. The way they're crying in that promo over a chick they
yeah.
knew for a year. It's
Jay
like you killed
Cargill just
my
like
brother. You know what I
Jay
mean?
Cargill came out there with the white outfit with the blood stains. I'm like, oh boy.
Uh-oh.
I said, Naomi, I would run if I were you. You're already not medically cleared. I would get out of there if I were you. She waited a couple seconds too late. Before that, she looked at Bianca. That gives me reason we're going to get that happening at some point. And if you want to be honest, I think we do see Bianca and Jade at SummerSlam because it's two nights this year. It's two
Yeah,
nights. So it gives me reason to believe that they're going to want to load up that card with a lot of good matches that we could have gotten at WrestleMania that we're going to get at SummerSlam. And plus, I think we're going to get King and Queen of the Ring again. So that might come into play in some of these matches as well. But it's like, I don't think they're going to do a whole year build for Bianca and Jade. I don't.
no,
I
it's
don't
not
think they're
worth
going to
it.
do a whole. It's not. And the same thing goes if they want to do Bianca and Rhea one on one. I said this before. I don't mind that feud, but that feud does not need a world championship for that match to happen. I'm gonna be honest. Her and Jade, Bianca and Bianca and Rhea do not need a title for those feuds. Those could be blood feuds outside of the title. You could do someone
Yeah,
else in the title picture for those feuds. I think, especially for the Bianca and Rhea feud, the whole feud could be centered around two of the best women to come up from NXT who have been dominating on the main roster on two different paths, coming together on a collision course to prove who is the better woman. Bada bing, bada boom. You could sell that feud. People would go to WrestleMania regardless if it has a title or not, just to see these two fight. So
yeah,
I think we're gonna see that eventually. Don't be surprised if they do this maybe at a Money in the Bank. Maybe they do this at a SummerSlam. Maybe they do this at Clash in Paris. There's other venues that you can sell this match happening. It doesn't need to be at a WrestleMania just because it's WrestleMania.
exactly.
WrestleMania is all about making stars at these shows. If we're building up new stars throughout the year, then that's what we should be doing. We should be building stars throughout 2025 to where we come this point next year. There's a plethora of stars we can see elevating themselves to being in the main event to where we don't have to legit go back to the well of Rhea Ripley's is world champion going into WrestleMania, or Bianca has to be in a world title match, or Becky Lynch or Charlotte. Like, we don't have to go back to that well. We should be going into these WrestleManias saying, oh, Chelsea Green is in a world title match at WrestleMania. Nia Jax is in a world title match. Tiffany Stratton, Liv Morgan. Those are stars that we could be building for the future that we could say, oh, it's a new era indeed, because now we're seeing these new stars who haven't got these opportunities to main event these shows are main eventing these shows at WrestleManias, headlining these shows. And I think that just helps the product as a whole continue to elevate and progress as time goes on, because Charlotte's not going to be there forever. Becky's not going to be there forever. And we're already seeing Becky Lynch dive into other, projects. Bailey, she's, not in the main event scene like that anymore. Mercedes, she's in a different company. So it's like you got to build up other stars. And that's the whole problem with the Liv Morgan title reign. It wasn't Liv Morgan's fault. I thought the title reign was good, but the problem with the reign, it was just centered around one person. If we would have spent that time
Yeah.
building up other women, you have other women that you could be, pushing to be in those main events. But if you're focusing on one woman, you put yourself in a deep predicament, because it's like that's all you have to go with, because that's all you built up. So
Yep.
you can't blame some of these women for being upset going into WrestleMania, because like they don't want to be in a pity tag team feud going into WrestleMania. I don't blame them for all the hard work they put in. They deserve higher spots. They deserve something bigger. I would love to see if Money in the Bank wasn't a thing, having at least Money in the Bank be back on WrestleMania. That would be huge. That would be huge, because you have women on the card. What if they were to bring back the Under the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, but made it serious in the sense of, if you wanted to do it, have women. What if they were competing on the card or not? Have them be in this battle royal, and a caveat to that is whoever wins gets a title opportunity of their choosing at the next pay-per-view. There you go. You're building a feud coming out of WrestleMania going into the next show that can give people some intrigue about these B shows. Because the one thing I always look at these B shows is there's nothing that really relatively happens on these shows. There's nothing really big or monumental or important that happens on these shows, which is why you don't really see people tune in all as much as to a Royal Rumble or a SummerSlam or a WrestleMania or a Money in the Bank, because there aren't no stakes at these shows. That's
Yeah.
the thing. And if you want more people to tune in, give people a reason to tune in. Same thing with Saturday Night Main Event. If you want people to tune into these shows, give people a reason. Have title changes on these shows. What if it is a world? It doesn't matter if it's a world title. If it could be a world title, it doesn't matter. World title, I understand you want to protect those as being the top title, but we're not in an era where we necessarily need long title reigns anymore. We don't. You can have a 4-month reign or a 3-month reign, and it can still be interesting just because of the matches and the stories that they are involved in. That's why you go back to the 90s and early 2000s. You saw those titles change hands a lot of times, even with the Stone
Oh yeah.
Cold and stuff like that. They were changed almost at every single pay-per-view, just about. So it's like, I get we're in a different era now, but it's still, you don't need a long title reign. I look at the women's division, which we'll talk about later as we talk about WrestleMania and talk about some of the matches that we could potentially be seeing happen. But the women's division needs a little help right now.
Needs a lot of
NXT
help.
is really good. Now that kind of segue into NXT, because at NXT we got Stephanie McCool becoming the NXT Women's Championship. She's pulling the Keith Lee. She pulled the Keith Lee back from Great American Bash when Keith Lee beat Adam Cole to become NXT champion.
Yep.
Bro, people were so upset and confused. It was like, what was the point of Julie becoming champion? You just wasted her time. They're complaining like, oh, Stephanie McCool is not gonna have a good reign. Hush, just shut up. You don't even know. You're not even backstage to know what's actually going on. So I
Julia's
think if you want
injured.
to be honest, exactly. She's injured, so she's not going to be able to compete like that. And
Yeah.
instead of, having her hold the title hostage, let the title go. Let that title go to somebody who's actually been built up. And if you're looking at the current landscape, Stephanie McCool is the only one that's been built up enough that you actually can believe is going to win that championship. Because Roxanne wasn't going to win that championship again. No, you're already making plans for her to go to the main roster,
No.
so you're not going to see her. Jordan Grace would be cool, but I don't think you need to push her to that main event scene just yet.
Yeah, she
Let her.
just got there.
She's
Yeah.
just got there. Let her build up her credibility a little bit. Let her get in some feuds. Maybe let her go to the mid card title scene a little bit and be an anchor for that division a little bit. That gives some more depth to that division, and then maybe bring her back up to the main roster and stuff like that,
Yeah, and
or in the
that's
main title scene.
and the thing is, I mean, you want to reference Keith Lee's reign. Look what happened after Keith Lee won the NXT championship. He vacated the North American title just so that way he could focus on defending the NXT title. And he was like, because I want someone else to win the North American championship and defend it with the honor and prestige that it deserves. Who's there not to say that Stephanie Vacour is not going to do the same thing?
I think she is.
Who's to say she's going to hold? Who's to say she's going to hold both those belts? I don't think she's going to hold both those belts.
No,
I think that take away a lot of focus in the women's division.
It would, and it's like
I think she's going to vacate the North American title.
She's going to vacate the title because now we have Stand and Deliver coming up. I think at Stand and Deliver we're going to crown a new champion. I think we settle this like we always do at Stand and Deliver in a good old fashioned ladder match to crown a new champion.
Yes.
We always seem to do this with the North American title. When we have a vacant champion, we put it in a ladder match. You have a plethora of women that have been circling around that title, that want that title. Give them opportunity. I already can look at it now. You can have Jada Parker in there. You're going to have Kalani. You could put maybe a Roxanne Perez if she's still down there in the lead up to that and she's not facing Bayley. You could do that. You could put a Jordan Grace. You could add Fallon Henley. There's a plethora of people there that you
Kermit
can put.
Petrovic.
Exactly. That's at least 6-7 women right there.
Lola
you can automatically. Lola Vice, yeah. Throw Lola Vice in there.
Yeah,
that's a couple of women right there. That's your whole mid-card title scene right there. Because if you want to be honest, the NXT title for the women is really reserved for like those names that have made a big name on the NDC before coming to WWE. The NXT Women's Championship is almost seen as for those people who are on the way up to getting to that main event scene, who haven't built that credibility, who are still not main event ready, but are improving tremendously. So this gives them something to do at the card instead of just having one person go out the title. Because within the last 2 weeks, we already seen Jada Parker. She wants that title, the North American Championship. We seen Fallon Henley wants a rematch. There's 2 women right there. So you have other women who are involved in feuds with those women, might I add. Put all of them together, make it a ladder match. And then regardless of what you do with Stephanie Vacour, I don't know. Maybe Julia's injury is only going to take her for a couple of weeks and she's back in time for Stand and Deliver. Maybe we do see her and Roxanne at the pay-per-view, or maybe we get a triple threat between Roxanne, Stephanie Vacour, and Bayley. We could do that. Yeah. So there's a different amount of things you could do with them. And also on NXT, Moose and Obafemi killed it. I enjoyed that match. I really did. Those two actually had a good chemistry. I did not think those two were going to have chemistry like they did, but they knocked it out of the park. But you knew Obafemi was going to win this, especially with Undertaker endorsing him before his match. And the same thing can kind of be said for Stephanie Vacour because she was being emotional before the match. So you already knew she was going to win it. People still wanted to find their way to complain. I was like, oh,
same with the Hardy Boys defending the TNA tag belts against Fraxium.
Yeah.
What, you're gonna have Fraxium hold both belts? No, it made it all the more obvious. And it's like, oh, but the Hardy Boys make 2025 and be the greatest tag team of this generation.
But it's already being said that it's already been said and reported they want to send Fraxium to the main roster on the Raw brand post Wrestlemania. So they're probably going to lose those titles by Stand and Deliver. Now, me personally, I would not be upset if the Hardy Boys were to win those tag titles because it opens up a new opportunities for the guys back there that are in the tag team division. Because if you want to be honest, Fraxium has beaten everybody. Fraxium has went through just about everybody in that division. So take the titles off of them, because I felt like it would have been more unpredictable if you would have put both titles on the line. If you would have put both titles on the line, it would have been way more unpredictable in the sense of what the outcome could be. But we knew it was kind of set in stone that Fraxium weren't going to take the TNA tag titles, although that would have been cool, but it wasn't going to happen. And also, even Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy made it clear they want NXT tag titles. That's the only tag team title that they've never held in their illustrious career. They won titles everywhere. They've never held the NXT tag team titles. Let them complete, that whole thing and win the tag titles, maybe at a stand deliver. I think people would literally pile in just to see that moment happen. And
that'd be
now we're starting to see other stories starting to take place on NXT. Javon Evans had a great match with Ethan Page. He tried to kill Ethan Page, might I add. He literally was on a mission. And the fact that it was a street fight, I loved it. Speaking of street fight, I'm surprised I'm surprised that we even forgot this from a chamber. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn probably had one of the best matches of their entire rivalry.
Oh man, that was such a good match,
bro.
Barbed wire chairs and big 2025 WWE.
He literally, Sammy was trying to kill Kevin Owens. He said, "You're no longer my brother for tonight. Tonight, you are my equal. You are my enemy." He hit the blue thunder bomb on the chair with the barbed wire. I thought it was game over. But the fact that he took him outside, Kevin Owens took Sami Zayn outside of the ring and hit him with the apron power bomb, not once, but twice. And the fact that Sami Zayn still had the audacity to fight back when he should be fighting his way to the chiropractor's office after taking those bumps. Because that man's back needs to be looked at seriously. But this was probably one of the most brutal matches I've seen in quite some time, at least for their feud at the very least. Like, it was so good.
For sure.
I hope next time we do see these two, I know we've seen these two fight so many times, but the next time we see these two fight, there needs to be blood for one. We need blood, and we need it to be for a title.
Yeah.
We need a title.
Oh, yeah, definitely for a championship.
Don't be surprised if one of these two guys win Money in the Bank this year. I would not bat an eye.
Kevin Owens. Should be Kevin Owens.
I would not bat an eye if you told me Kevin Owens or Sammy won Money in the Bank. Now, me personally, I have other people that I would love to personally see win Money in the Bank, but it seems more far of a stretch, which we'll talk about in just a little bit. But at the very least, they gave us a really, really compelling, hard-hitting, story-driven match. Now, I can't say the same thing for Revolution, because AEW Revolution, the show was good up until the main event.
Main event was horrible.
It was poor. It was egregious. And the fact that literally Tony Khan has the audacity to sit up here and rebook this match for next week in a street fight. You booked one of the worst main events in AEW history for the second time.
I already beat this subject to death. Like, just because the only reason why they're running this match back is not only for the ratings. We all know it's because of the ratings, but also because of the wild amount of criticism that the main event had because Christian Cage cashed in and failed.
And what are they doing with Christian? Because now they're teasing
him
leaving the patriarchy. They're about to have this man leave the patriarchy when he created this whole thing. And it's like Nick Wayne,
Nick Wayne talking back, and it's like, okay, all right.
We see what you're trying to do.
I don't care about this.
It's like the placement of the way the match card played out. Respectfully, you could have made this the first match of the show to get it in. If you're like, I would have much rather this be the first match to get it over with, so we can have other matches. Because realistically, the women's match should have main evented. The women's match,
that Hollywood ending.
Toni Storm and Mariah May should have main evented. You could have even had Kyle Fletcher and Will Ospreay main event that show.
Mm-hmm.
And I even said this on Dynamite last night with the promo that Will Ospreay cut. I'm sorry, but I don't think Darby Allin should become your next world champion. I don't.
I said the same thing too. It's almost like they're doing a plan B, where it's like, okay, Darby Allin's going to climb Mount Everest. Oh fuck! But what if he doesn't come back? Well, we need a backup plan. That backup plan is Will Ospreay.
Even if
Even
he
if he
came
came
back,
back,
I don't.
yeah.
Even if he came back, I'm gonna be honest, and this might ruffle some feathers, but Darby Allin is not main event championship material. He's not. I don't know how many times we have to keep stressing this. I'm not gonna sit up here and say that he's not a bad wrestler or he's not a good wrestler, because he is. He's a good wrestler, but he's not
Yeah.
main event championship material. If you're looking at the world championship, this is pretty much the company telling you this is our guy. This is the guy we are going to be building the company around, pretty much, quote unquote. Darby Allin, in my eyes, is not that guy. Now, he could be a TNT champion, absolutely. He could be a tag team champion, absolutely. He could be a continental champion or international champion, absolutely. But world champion, no. There are other guys on that roster
Anything's
that I
possible.
much rather. There are plenty of guys I much rather want to see face Moxley, take that title from Moxley. We're already getting one of them in Swerve Strickland. I don't think Swerve is going to take it from him at Dynasty. I would love to see that, but I don't think that's going to be the case. If he was a face, but he's not going to face because people can't stand him. Ricochet. I would love to see Ricochet win that world championship. I would love to see Bobby Lashley compete for that championship. I would love to see Adam Hangman Page, with the run he's been on, face Moxley for that world championship.
You should
The
have.
guy that I think is going to take that title from him is Will Ospreay. He literally said, he's the first to enter this whole Owen Hart. He's going to come after whoever's champion. He said, you call yourself the king. I'm coming to knock the king off his throne. That literally, if you're talking about All In, that is the main event that you realistically put as your main event.
Oh, yeah.
Will Ospreay overcoming Jon Moxley to become your AEW world champion. And you can already see it. They're building the company around him anyway.
They already are. All the
He's their
5-star
poster.
matches. Yeah.
When people talk
Golden
about
Goose.
AEW and they talk about matches, they're talking about Will Ospreay. He's the guy that people are talking about. You look at Revolution, Hangman, Adam Page, and MJF had a decent match. I'll give it that. Mariah May, Toni Storm, probably one of my best women's matches this year. We saw Swerve and Ricochet. I love that match. I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
And now, and we know I'm glad they added stakes to that because it was number one contenders. Then you can also have maybe Ricochet screw over Swerve, continue their feud, probably going into Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
And then you go on to something else. I think that we're going to do a best of 3 because Ricochet's 1-1 and Swerve is 1-1, 1-1. Technically, Ricochet has 2 wins because he won that tag match on the go home. So we knew he wasn't going to win. And then we also seen Kenny Omega win the international championship. Great match. But the thing is, we know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. I would have called it an audible and had Brody King win the Continental Championship.
Me too. I can't stand that reign. And
Okada hasn't done anything.
No, he's just a guy holding that belt and saying bitch. Okay,
I don't
there,
know
buddy.
whose championship.
This is the guy that everyone's all saying is the best wrestler in the world. Are you kidding me?
Not what they've been doing with him in AEW. No.
Nope. They dropped his stock immensely.
I don't know whose championship reign is worse, Okada's or Shinsuke Nakamura's. Because both of them have been terrible.
Both of them sucked.
And I even said it, and people came at me because I
said... At least Nakamura was on TV.
Yeah. But here's the thing. And I said this with Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura is going to go down as the worst United States champion in WWE history.
Nah, I wouldn't.
People like to make that argument with Dean Ambrose back in 2013 when he won the U.S. Championship. At least he defended the title on pay-per-views. At least he was on Raw and SmackDown every week.
Not every week.
Oh yeah, it was. Exactly. So even though his title reign wasn't the best, at least he was there every week. He was in high-profile storylines, which kind of helped the U.S. title in a sense. But Shinsuke didn't do anything. It's like he wins the title and goes right back into hiding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know what we're doing. It's just like, and then I don't understand
I'll
what.
tell you exactly what they're doing. Kenny Omega is the new international champion.
Mm-hmm.
Okada is the continental
Continental.
champion. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have a unification match for the AEW Intercontinental Championship.
Are they going to call it the Intercontinental Championship? Because I don't know if they have the licensing for that. Because I know WWE
Oh,
owns that.
Intercontinental isn't like, trademark. Intercontinental is basically like a common
Because I was
saying.
about to say, if that's the case, then maybe you can call it maybe the AEW Global Championship or something. I
No,
don't
they're
know.
gonna go Intercontinental. You know they're gonna do that. They're already talking about, they're coming up with creative plans to unify
Is
the
it going to have a white
international
strap,
scene.
though? Are we going to get the
No,
white
it
strap?
probably won't have the white strap. It probably won't.
Tickets. I would love it for it to be
It'd be
the.
great, but no.
I would love it for it to kind of be because the Continental Championship looks like the Intercontinental Championship anyway, if you want to be honest. But
Yeah,
like, I'm over Okada's reign, bro. And I'm over John
me
Moxley's reign. And
too.
people know I'm a fan of John Moxley, but I'm even as a John Moxley fan, I'm not invested into this Death Rider storyline. It has literally done nothing for AEW. It has literally done nothing but turn up people away from the product, even people who have been diehard fans and been there since its inception in 2019.
Yeah, that's kind of saying something when even the most hardcore AEW fans is like, we want this to end.
And it's like Tony Khan sits up there on his high horse and does not even listen to the
No,
fans that say, get rid of this storyline. Do something else with this storyline. Take the title off Moxley. Give it to someone else. And he does nothing but continue and continue and continue to ignore his fan base. And he wonders why some people talk negatively about your product. It's because you're not trying. Why do you
nope.
think people aren't going to your shows like they used to? Why do you think ticket sales are down right now in AEW to the point you're struggling to even sell out all in? I don't even think they sold even 10,000 tickets. And I think that arena could sit up to maybe 70,000. And it's saying something
40
because right
40,000.
now, 40,000. And you haven't even sold not even 10,000 yet. And you're
Yeah.
that pay-per-view is in what, 2-3 months from now, and you're struggling.
Yeah.
That's saying something. Do something with your product, because if you don't, more and more people are going to continue to turn your product. And I hate how he treats his stars, because if you look at the whole thing where Thunder Rosa did that thing with the Megan Bain situation, it wasn't Thunder Rosa's fault. You need to blame Megan Bain and I think Penelope Ford for going into business for themselves in that scenario. But they didn't get in trouble for that. Megan Bain and Penelope Ford didn't get in trouble, but Thunder Rosa did, which made no sense. And then the fact that she goes into a podcast and she has to issue an apology from a statement that pretty much Tony Khan probably typed up himself and said, you need to say this on the podcast. And it looked like she was looking down at it while she was doing that podcast episode as well. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to be honest, people are starting to leave AEW. Don't be surprised if Thunder Rosa is probably one of the next few to leave your company.
Yeah, it's kind of saying something too when so many AEW people are leaving and going to the WWE, realizing the grass is greener on the other side.
We
Like,
already seen it. We
yeah, we're
already
already
seen it.
seeing it. I mean, Jesus Christ. Cody Rhodes,
Malachi gone.
CM Punk. Well, Cody Rhodes, CM Punk,
Malachi,
Texas King. Well,
Miro.
Malachi's rumored to be there. Ethan Page,
Yep.
Penta, Jade,
Ricky.
all these people. Yeah, Ricky
Yeah.
Saints. Like, Jesus.
And now you probably could be looking at Mother Ray Phoenix. He's gone. You're looking at other people like maybe a Britt Baker might leave. You might have Thunder Rosa might be on the outs. You probably have other people that we don't know about who might be frustrated with the company and are probably just waiting until their contract expires to where they can leave. I'm looking at guys over
Yeah.
there now. I would love to see Keith Lee back over there in the WWE. He would be treated really well under Triple H, I feel like. Because he was his
Even if you
guy.
got to send him back down to NXT,
He'll be
I think he'd still
fine.
be good.
He
Keith Lee and
would be fine.
Obafemi. Oh,
I'm just getting goosebumps thinking about that match now. That's
that's
a match
fire.
I can see. That's a match I can see. But if Tony Khan does not sit down with and be honest with himself and listen to his fans and come to terms with like, okay, it's not working. This is something I give praise to WWE all the time, because if they see something is not working, they are not afraid to pivot away from something and try something new. We're starting to see that more and more. It started off with NXT and it's making its way to the main roster. We see it last year. The plan was to be Rock and Roman. They see in the fan perception to where they didn't want it. They pivoted to Cody Rhodes. This shows they're not afraid to change things up. But Tony Khan sticks to his guns no matter how awful something can really be, and see it through, even though the fans tell you, pivot. This is not working. We don't want to see this. Try something new. Like, come on now. But that's a little bit of a rant towards AEW. AEW, get it together. Because we don't hate you. We want to enjoy your company. We want to enjoy the match you put on. But stop doing that. Stop putting matches like Jon Moxley and Adam Copeland, who have no chemistry whatsoever, on pay-per-views. Stop. Get rid of the Death Rider storyline, because it's killing your company. Please, Tony Khan, listen to your fans. But then again, but on to other things. We're going to talk about WrestleMania, because WrestleMania is coming up. Now, we know there are a lot of matches at least a few matches that have been confirmed, which we'll talk about. And then we'll also talk about the match that we could see happening. And do we think it should happen as well? So we know the main event probably for night one is probably going to be Gunther and Jey Uso. Me, honestly, I'm so confused, because why, for your Royal Rumble winner, we're having him in a feud with A-Town Down Under?
You could say the same thing for the world champion in a feud with Alpha Academy.
What are we doing? And then you wonder why people are saying this match should not be the main event of your show.
No, it should kick off night one. It should.
Like, bro, you have you're trying
this does not scream WrestleMania main event to me.
Bro, and I even said this. If you want to be honest, and this is no disrespect to Jay, because I love Jay, but Jimmy Uso is even better than Jey Uso. At least Jimmy Uso has a little bit more moves in his move set that he can pull out, that he's not afraid to.
At least Jimmy can talk. At least Jimmy can talk.
He can be funny, but he can also flip that switch where he can be serious at the same time.
Yeah,
and he doesn't even have
that
to
one
say
promo he had with. Yeah, the one promo he had with Drew McIntyre. Yeah, my brother punched his ticket. Where's yours? Like, that was such a good promo.
Oh, he started laughing with Drew, and he said beep, and it said and then hit him with the yeet. And I'm like, bro,
yeah,
you're telling me Jey Uso can't do this? You're telling me
instead of saying yeet every 2 seconds.
I get it. It sells.
Yeet. I'm gonna yeet. Beat you yeet.
At WrestleMania. I'm gonna become world champion, and I'm gonna walk out. Your new world champion. Yeet.
Yeet.
Bro, come on, bro.
Like, the whole thing. There's a whole build
around the word yeet.
John Cena could have won that Royal Rumble, and Jey Uso could have won the Elimination Chamber. I said it.
We could have, or you could have did it what we said last year. You could have just had Jey Uso straight up win Money in the Bank.
Yeah, he could have done the Yeet in the Bank.
You could have just had him become Money in the Bank. You could have maybe had him cash in at some point last year before maybe Gunther got the belt. Maybe he beat Jey Uso. Maybe beat Damian Priest. Then Gunther took the title from him. Maybe a Survivor Series or something.
Or he beats Gunther at Mania 41. He cashed in on Gunther at Mania.
Or he even cashed in on whoever he was facing at Mania.
Yeah.
Like, there was so much more you could have done with it. I'm not mad at him winning the Royal Rumble because it was something I didn't expect, which I'm not mad at. I would like to see WWE do things that we don't necessarily see clear cut happening. But the thing is, like going back to what we said, is you gave us that match literally at Saturday Night Main Event before the Royal Rumble, a week before the Rumble, might I add, and he
Yep.
lost to go the very next week, win the Rumble, to punch his ticket to face Gunther for the championship. I would have been way more invested if we would have somehow, some way got Gunther defending the title against John Cena, and we would have had maybe a potential Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso storyline going into WrestleMania.
Well, they're former
It would
tag
have been
team partners. Yeah.
former tag team partners. It makes sense from everything that happened at WrestleMania 40, where Jey Uso came in to help him finish his story, quote unquote, and he was in the ring to celebrate with him. Boom. There you go. You could have had Cody Rhodes maybe be the heel a little bit more in that scenario if you weren't going to turn Jey heel. You could have done different things with that, but I can't see that. I would not be surprised if that match, like you said, starts the show because I don't want to see that main event. Now, I feel like they're going to because if you're calling him main event, Jey Uso, you got to back it up and have him be
Well,
in the main event.
especially since Michael Cole made it such a big deal. Main event is not just a catchphrase anymore. That's just telling you it's going to main event
Exactly.
Mania. It's just telling you.
Exactly. And we already know the moment of him winning will be good. But the question is, what happens after he wins? When the real work begins, when he has to come out the next night as world champion, with all these guys coming for him in that championship, can he run the gauntlet? Can he pass the true test of being a champion? I don't
Who
know.
knows?
That's a big question mark right now. Can
Yeah.
he come up the next night and beat the guys that are on the up and up to try to take the title like you have in Raw? You got people like Rey Mysterio, you got Finn Balor, you got Dominic, you got people like that. You have other people that might be moving over because we're gonna have a draft post Mania that might want the title. You have people that are going to want the title. What if Roman Reigns gets moved over to Raw and he goes after Jey Uso? Is he gonna get past Roman Reigns? I highly doubt
No,
it.
he won't.
I highly doubt it. I highly, highly doubt WWE is going to have Jey Uso go over Roman Reigns. Now, did he pin him before? Yes, in the tag match.
In a
But
tag match.
singles competitor, Roman Reigns always puts the belt to Jey Uso every single time. We get it. They get in the ring. So I don't know. And then we also got to talk about Cody Rhodes and John Cena. I feel like that's worthy of main eventing night 2.
That should
And
be
speaking
night
of
2
main event,
easy.
I really don't understand some people in the IWC because some people literally sat up here and said the fact that, you know what people said, Willie, and this is literally grinds my gears that people said this. They sat up here and had the audacity to say Gunther and Jey Uso should main event night 2. And I'm looking at these people. I'm like, are you dumb? Are you stupid? Are you like, what is wrong with you?
I
Like, what's
said in
wrong with you?
my Mania 41 fantasy booking video, I was like, Gunther and Jay isn't even capable of main eventing night 1. Who the fuck thinks that's going to be capable of main eventing night 2? I'm sorry,
Bro,
but I know we're
could you
spoiling things later, but Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns is more worthy of main eventing night 1 than Gunther and Jey Uso.
I even say Rhea Ripley, Bianca, and Io main
Well,
event
yeah,
night 1.
that one would be
That
more
makes sense.
capable. You want to have a women's main event? Sure, have Io get a Mania main event. Everyone's gonna be happy. They'll have a women's main event, and then you got the men main eventing night 2. There you go. But
Yeah.
no, because
Could
a bunch of
you
kids are
not
saying yeet. A bunch of kids are saying yeet. So they're gonna go a main event, whether it's
do
night
you
1 or night 2.
do you not know how irate we would probably be if they somehow decided to do that and put Jey Uso in the main event with Gunther on night 2?
I would literally be so fucking mad.
I would be pissed, bro. I
Like,
would contemplate if I want to watch the match or turn it off.
yeah, it's like you're closing moment of WrestleMania in 2025 should be John Cena winning his 17th World
World Championship.
Championship. Not Mr. fucking Yeet Man, who's been a tag team guy for the past fucking 20 years, who just got over because he found a new
Exactly.
word in the dictionary. I'm sorry, no Yeet.
And I'm not saying
Not
that Jey
happening.
Uso can't be a main event. It's just main eventing WrestleMania is the problem. Now, if this was like a Backlash, okay, I could see that. I could see a main event a Backlash. I could see him
If it
main
was
eventing a
Backlash,
Money in
easy,
the Bank.
yeah.
Money in the Bank, even maybe he's King and Queen of the Ring. I can see
He's
that.
main evented numerous pay-per-views.
Like he can main event Fastlane or Payback if they brought those back. Of course, I could see that. But WrestleMania, I don't know.
No.
I can't.
It was fine when he main evented Mania with his brother. It was fine when he
That
main
was
evented
fine.
Mania with his brother.
The story
Yeah.
called for it. The match was really good. It was entertaining. But I don't. And then it's like, what is this
I don't
moveset
buy
gonna
this
be?
storyline.
I'm scared because it's like, are we gonna get a super kick party like we did last year with him just continuing to hit the spear, the super kick, and the splash the entire match, and then he gets a win?
We're gonna get chops, super kicks, power bombs, splashes.
It was funny though seeing Gunther come out to like the Jey Uso the entrance. He said, "I'm here to see what the heat is all about." I was like, bro, he is taking it to a new level of disrespectful. And I'm
I think I said on my Twitter, I was like, I love Gunther even more than I already do for mocking Jey Uso's entrance.
Bro, he was funny for that. And then he said, Jey Uso, you're about to endure 10 weeks of hell, my friend. And he has been taking him through the ringer the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Poking him out the past 2 weeks. Sending him to the upper room to meet Valhalla every single week. He's about to take this man through the ringer, and he's going to take this man through the ringer at WrestleMania. Now, Gunther, he's a main eventer that I could see being at a WrestleMania.
Yeah, he's a guy who deserves to main event WrestleMania, and that's why
Especially
I think it should have
with
been
the
John
IC title.
Cena versus. That's why at first I said it should have been John Cena versus Gunther. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the fact that Cena turned heel and how they're doing the Cena and Rhodes thing, at least for right now, is very good. But in the long run, I still think it should have been John Cena versus Gunther, and then Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk, because Jey Uso main event. No.
Dude, honestly, I even said this before. You could have done Punk and Gunther, because even didn't they tease that in the lead up to Survivor Series? Punk said, I want that world title, and I want Gunther.
I think he was like, after I'm done with Drew, I'm coming for you. And then it didn't.
And you know what they do? You know what they're doing, right? They're having this match happen on the WWE Road to WrestleMania live event tour.
I saw that. I got so fucking mad.
Bro, this is a WrestleMania match that you're putting on live events.
In front of like 3,000 people.
Bro, they even did Seth Rollins and Gunther. It just shows that WWE is, I don't understand it. You had Seth Rollins and Gunther. I would have preferred that match. That's a match we never seen, I don't think, in quite some time. I know they competed that one time.
They did on
Survivor Series 2019, but this is a new Seth Rollins. This is a new iteration of Gunther. They're two totally different than they were a couple years ago.
Yeah, he faced.
I would have preferred to see that.
Yeah.
So it's like, and you're having that take place on the Road to WrestleMania live event tour as well. What are we doing?
Like those matches would have been so much better to main event WrestleMania 41 than this. And I saw the graphic. It was like CM Punk versus Gunther in a steel cage or something like that. And it's just like, bro, I want to see that.
Then we know we're also getting the Women's Championship, Charlotte versus Tiffany.
Yay.
Tiffany needs to beat Charlotte, bro.
Easy.
Tiffany should not be losing this title. I'm telling you now, if Charlotte wins this championship, and knowing WWE, if knowing how WWE is, they have a hard on for Charlotte Flair. Don't be surprised if she would win it. But she should not be winning this match.
No.
What does it do for Charlotte? Nothing.
Oh, I'll tell you what it does for Charlotte. He's 15-time women's champion. I'm like, dude, just because she has the last name Flair. Yeah, just because she has the last name Flair doesn't mean you need to be a carbon copy of Ric Flair and what he did. Because we're already trying to make a big deal of John Cena winning a 17th World Championship. If we're trying to do the same thing with Charlotte Flair, not as big as a deal anymore because everyone's going to win 16
belts. A lot
of
it felt forced. It's the thing with Charlotte, and it's forced. I even said this numerous times. We look at the 4 horsewomen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Becky has had different characters in her run, where she was the Irish Lash Kisser, to the Man, to big time Bex, to what she is now. We look at Bayley, who is the hugger, to the role model. She's had evolution of her character. Mercedes Moné, where she was the boss, to being the CEO. Charlotte has always been the same character. I'm Ric Flair's daughter. I'm a former champion. Can we have a character where she does not have this queen character? And also on top of that, we've seen these women and the 4 horsemen put other wrestlers over. Becky Lynch put over Liv Morgan before taking a sabbatical. Helped Liv Morgan become a star in the process. We've seen Bayley, which she did for EO, made her a star. We've seen Mercedes Moné and over in AEW made Willow into a big deal. Charlotte Flair has not put anybody over. People automatically like to point at Rhea Ripley that say, oh, Charlotte Flair put over Rhea Ripley. Did she really? Because Rhea Ripley was already kind of mega over at that point. She didn't need to.
Rhea Ripley was already a star.
Exactly. So it didn't matter. We're talking people on the up and up that could benefit by getting wins over Charlotte.
Yeah.
And also on top of that, we've seen these women have feuds that have not revolved around the title. Becky Lynch had a feud with Trish Stratus. She had a feud with Bayley in 2023. We seen that without the title. We seen Bayley have feuds without the title. We see Mercedes Moné have feuds outside of the title. Exactly. Why can't we have 1 year or 2-3 years where we can have good feuds with Charlotte Flair? Because if you want to be honest, Charlotte Flair, she's decent in the ring. But the thing is, can we have a good run of Charlotte Flair where she's not in the title picture?
I wish.
Seriously.
I really wish. But they're always going to put her in the title picture because she's this big name. And it's like, oh, if you beat Charlotte Flair, you're automatically like on the up and up in the women's division. No, you won't be. Because Charlotte's just going to keep crawling back in. She's going to keep challenging.
She's the cockroach that won't go away. That's the easy way to put it. Like every time. And what made me so upset with Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble. 1, they telegraphed it.
Yeah.
2, you had her come in at 27, so you knew she was probably going to win. Number 3, you gave her pyro.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
And what was so just irritating is just the fact that in 2024, right, you look at the women's division, the 2 women that they have built up to look somewhat as credible, Io Sky, Liv Morgan. That's it. Only 2 women that you realistically can sit here and say they built up. And as soon as it just made it just upsetting because it's like those 2 women have been the MVPs of 2024 on the WWE side of things. Having good matches, right? But the thing is like it just felt like a slap in the face to those 2 women because like you put all this hard work in all last year trying to build those 2 up. Just for Charlotte to come back in within 15 minutes and already back in the world title scene.
Yeah, that's the thing that really pisses me off too. But like, I'm fine with this match taking place at Mania only.
It's a dream match.
Only if Tiffany wins. Because yeah, it's technically a dream match. It's the present.
Battle of the Blondes.
It's the present versus the past. Yeah, it's the battle of the blondes, but you know, I will be so livid if Charlotte wins the belt. I will absolutely just turn my TV off. I don't care if it's in night 2 where this happens. I'll check on Twitter and see when the fucking Cody Cena match is on. I won't watch the rest of the show if Charlotte Flair wins the
Because
championship.
I'm telling you, she's on SmackDown where you don't have a lot of star power that make a lick of sense of taking that belt off Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you want to be honest, Bianca, she's probably gonna be a mainstay on Raw.
Now,
I feel she's gonna be a mainstay on Raw, and I feel like she's probably gonna win the belt at Mania. I realistically feel like they're going to give her the belt.
I sure hope not.
I'd rather Bianca over Rhea. If it comes down to one of those two, I'm picking Bianca every single time over Rhea Ripley. Because at least with Bianca Belair as champion, she was there every week. She actually had compelling matches. She actually helped put over other women in the process of her winning. And it's like the title made pay-per-views. So I'm not mad at it. And actually, Bianca is really good in the ring. And the last time she had a world title match was 2023. They gave her a break from the main event scene to where we miss her in the main event scene to where she'd be welcomed back in the main event scene. So I would not be mad at it. And then maybe we could segue into a Bianca Rhea feud post WrestleMania. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. I'd rather that happen than we build a Bianca Rhea feud over the title for a year going into WrestleMania 42 because I do not want to see Bianca Rhea at WrestleMania next year. I do not. I don't want to see that. I'm telling you now, I need other women to be stepping up going forward this year, going into next year. Because we already said Charlotte Flair probably gonna be in a top picture next year. Hopefully not, but 9 times out of 10, it probably will be. If we're looking at the Raw side, I think Bianca's probably going to be in the world title picture. Rhea Ripley, please, for the love of God, no.
Get her out of that title picture after Mania.
Put her in the mid-card title scene.
Yeah. Give her a break. Give her a vacation.
Give her a year vacation from post-WrestleMania to next year's WrestleMania. Give her a break.
She needs it.
Because I don't want to see it. Because Rhea Ripley, every time she holds a title, it is boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
I feel nothing seeing Rhea Ripley on my TV screen. I feel nothing.
She held the title the first time around. It was boring. She didn't
even
have
the second time around. Even the second time around, it was boring.
I'm glad they cut it short.
Me too.
And then
I was popping like a kid on Christmas when Io Sky randomly won the belt. I was like, holy fuck.
And speaking of Io, she's going into her second year as a world champion.
Yeah.
That's
very good.
So it's like, okay, that's cool. And then I recently do not want to see even Rhea Ripley be in this feud at all at WrestleMania.
They should have kept Io and Bianca. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Going back to what we said about Chamber, if you weren't gonna have Bianca face for the championship, right? And you did quote unquote have Liv Morgan win, I would have been okay with Liv Morgan facing Io if they want to be 1-1. Because at least there's a legit history there because both of those women have history. Liv beat Io clean before losing the belt, which actually was a good match, might I add.
The only good thing about Saturday night's main event.
Exactly. So it's like, bro. So I hope that the women's division gets something as we talk about more matches for WrestleMania because we got to talk on more matches because we're probably going to get, we already know Cena, Cody's going to happen. I personally think Cena should win.
Me
I'm
too.
telling you now, it makes all the sense in the world for him to win. You don't have a generational heel run like this or a heel turn like this and have him lose. That would suck the air out of WrestleMania and the IWC as a whole. You got
Yeah.
people invested on this train to want to see this match. And you have him lose. If
I would.
Cody Rhodes retains,
What
I
happens
would not be
after? Me.
I would not be surprised if it's an uproar on WrestleMania or the very next night. People thought when Cody lost,
People are gonna do the Cody Hogan fucking memes. They're gonna have them at the fucking ready.
you know they're gonna have those pictures ready to upload if he loses, if Cena loses this.
Yeah.
But it creates compelling stories if Cena is champion. You have Punk, you have a Roman Reigns. That'll be interesting.
You have AJ Styles, who's recently came
Ooh.
back.
You have AJ. You have 3 wrestlers right there, 3 feuds ready to
McIntyre.
go. Drew McIntyre. They even if this might be a like a Backlash Mexico feud, but don't be surprised if they want to do what they did in 2019 with Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio and have Rey Mysterio face Brock. You could have Cena and Rey Mysterio.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind that. I think it'll be a compelling match. The whole story that they can tell is pretty much Rey Mysterio want to become champion one more time and trying to get Cena back on the good side. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think those two actually have good chemistry. It gives us an actual match
and
compared
there's
to
story because what happened in 2011, Rey Mysterio won the WWE Championship.
Exactly.
That same night, Cena politicked his way to beating Rey later that night. Rey's like, I want revenge.
Yeah.
I didn't forget.
I didn't forget about that. And if we are going to turn Finn Balor face at some point, John Cena and Finn Balor would be so good. Especially if you bring out NXT version of Finn Balor from 2019.
Oh, 2019 Finn Balor was peak USA Network NXT. Oh my God.
Think about other matches we could see. If the rumors are true and he is returning, imagine Aleister Black versus Cena.
I don't know about that.
or even Miro. Because Miro and Cena have a lot of history.
Yeah, he could be Miro, like, hey, listen.
Speaking of that, I did recently see that Miro and CJ Perry are actually still together. They're and everything like that. So they are still together.
That's good.
So that's good. That's always some good news to see. And that would be a cool story going back to 2015. Think about it. 2015, the U.S. title at WrestleMania 31. That match was really good. Now we're getting it 10 years later. He comes back. I would love that. Now we got other matches that we have to talk about as well. We have other matches that we might be seeing potentially set up. What is the U.S. title going to look like? Me personally, I'm glad they took the title of Shinsuke. It's back on LA Knight. I would think that it probably would be a multi-man match for the US title.
I think it would be a ladder match.
Because I think you would put. I think it's safe to say for the U.S. title for the men, you're gonna have LA Knight. You're probably gonna have Shinsuke in there. You're gonna have Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, Miz, and Jimmy Uso.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be a perfect match right there. Especially if you want to have Carmelo Hayes win that belt. There you go.
Or even Jimmy Uso.
Or Jimmy, and then you get the picture. Jimmy Uso, Rey Mysterio, Jimmy Uso, and Jey Uso as singles champions, like the Hardys were.
Champions. I think exactly. That's what I think they're going for. I think that's realistically what they're going to go for. And speaking of mid-card titles, what are they going to do with the men's? Because it's like up in the air. It seemed like at one point it was going to be AJ, but they pulled the plug back on that. Now we're seeing AJ and Logan.
Yay.
Now it seems like they're pivoting to Finn Balor, which I'm not mad at because Finn Balor, despite all his losses and being Finn Balor, he's still one of the best workers in the ring.
Yeah, and I wanted that to be at Mania too, but we're getting it on Raw, which just points to maybe Braun versus Sheamus again.
No. I think we might get a multi-man match again, but I don't
Fatal
think that's
five-way.
Fatal 5-way or something, or 6-pack challenge.
Yeah,
I
because
think
you
we
can have
get
Sheamus. Well, no, because not AJ anymore, but Sheamus, Penta, Finn, Sheamus, Braun.
I say this. If we get a ladder match, this kind of goes in with my theory that I'm thinking it's going to happen, because based off what happened on Raw when we had the Judgment Day segment, Finn Balor was gifted an IC title opportunity for this week's coming episode of Raw for Braun Breaker by Dominic, and after Finn Balor was hugging him, you seen Dominic giving us a little
Side eye.
devious look, and then after that, Liv Morgan turned to Dominic and says, "Why don't you just put yourself in that match?" That gives me reason to believe either Dominic is going to screw him over in that match, and we get the reveal of this new guy in the Judgment Day potentially, or maybe it's a situation where there's some miscommunication where Finn Balor loses, or they shockingly enough pull a swerve and have Finn Balor win.
Finn
Which
Balor should win.
He should. If you can have Jey Uso beat Braun Breaker for the IC title, there's no excuse you can't have Finn Balor win this.
Exactly.
And Finn Balor, if you want to be honest, it's better than Jey Uso.
Oh, there's no argument.
Like,
Finn Balor by default is better
think about
than
this.
Jey
If you
Uso.
have Braun Breaker as champion going into Mania, Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio,
Oh yeah,
Louis Kaiser, Penta, and Sheamus.
and then if you want to make it an 8-man, Pete Dunne. I think you already said Ludwig Kaiser, right?
Yeah.
Who the fuck else can you probably put
maybe if he's cleared in time, maybe Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah.
He's
already training.
As a surprise. Maybe a Rusev or Alistair as a surprise.
That's the new member of the Judgment Day in the match.
But here's the thing. This is what I think is going to happen. I think Dominic will be your next Intercontinental Champion. The reason I say that is because they've definitely been teasing Braun and Dom having a match of some sort at some point in the near future. What if this is the case that happens if we have a ladder match at Mania? It looks like throughout the match, Dominic, Finn Balor on the same page, helping each other, right? Finn Balor is about to unhook the title or grab the title. Dominic comes in, pushes Finn Balor off the ladder, screwing him over, turning on him, ascends the ladder, grabs the title, and it's declared Dominic Mysterio is your new Intercontinental Champion.
That'd be great.
First of all, that gives a lot of heat on Dominic, a new champion. This gives us a fresh feud coming out of WrestleMania because it's Backlash Mexico. There you go. Dominic Mysterio is Mexican descent. There you go.
And Braun Breaker doesn't even have to be pinned, and he can go for the world title feud.
Or even you could do at Backlash Mexico, Dominic, Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, run that feud back.
And Dominic gets his one-on-one match with his father and beat him.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Because he beat him the last 2 WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Dominic gets his revenge.
Now, moving on to the women's IC and US.
I don't see anything in limbo. The US.
The US, I feel like it's safe to say we could see a fatal 4-way or fatal 5-way potentially, because
maybe on the pre-show,
or maybe the SmackDown before. But
yeah, it will be the SmackDown before.
I feel like if you want to make those titles feel relevant and important, you have to put those titles on Mania if you want people to care. I feel like now for the US, I'm fine. We're finally over with Michin and Chelsea, because it's like the thing is with that feud, they ran that feud into the ground, and it's like Chelsea always got the upper hand on Michin every single time, even though people wanted to see Michin win, similar to Dakota Kai over on Raw. So it's like Do we have a fatal 4-way with that? Maybe, or fatal 5-way? Because I think we're going to tell that story between now and Mania, where now that she brought in Alba Fire to be part of the Secret Service, Piper starts to feel a certain way. Maybe they kick Piper out. She's a face again. We get Chelsea, Piper, Michin gives her a WrestleMania payday, Zelina Vega, and maybe BFAB. Because all of those women have been circling around the U.S. title. Me personally, that probably could go to the SmackDown before.
Yeah, that would probably definitely go to the SmackDown before.
I think it's safe to say Zelina Vega is going to take that title from Chelsea.
And she should. Zelina Vega should have been the champion years ago.
I don't understand why people don't look at her as a main eventer. Yeah, her in-ring work be tweaked a little bit, but she can go. She's good on promos.
She's good in the ring.
She's good in the ring. She can cut a mean promo. So there's no way you can't realistically have these two face each other and give her a mid-card title at the very least. And build her up as a potential world champion in the future. Just imagine if you built her up as the underdog babyface to go against Charlotte and she beat Charlotte. That would be huge.
It would be.
I'm going to say it now. I think she should be in the running to be one of those women that I feel like WWE should probably put the Money in the Bank briefcase on.
I could agree with that.
I think her character would fit, regardless if she could be that heel or face.
I think she'd be a great babyface underdog.
Exactly. And the IC title,
the women's IC title,
Lyra Valkyria has done nothing for me as champion.
Oh, yeah, I feel the same way. They're feeding people to Lyra, and like they're giving her the most meaningless feuds and storylines. No disrespect to Dakota Kai, she was the person I wanted to be the first.
Yeah, me too.
But they fucking butchered her with Lyra Valkyria. Ivy
Nile had a good match. Ivy Nile had a good match with her. Don't get me wrong.
They were decent.
But nobody took her serious.
Nobody thought Ivy was going to win. And then Raquel Rodriguez, she's already a tag champ. She's not going to fucking hold 2 belts.
You'll be surprised what they would do in WWE as, like, we've been through a lot of different people holding double championships. We've seen Becky hold the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championship.
We just saw Stephanie Vaquer hold.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Now, this might be a hot take, but it's like people wanted to see Becky Lynch face Lyra Valkyria, which, still could happen, but it's not happening at WrestleMania. I don't think she's going to be back in time for WrestleMania. Not at this stage in the game.
I think maybe we do get what you said earlier. I think we get Lyra Roxanne Bayley.
Exactly. Or maybe we do get a multi-woman and we add maybe a Raquel or something, or a Liv or something, if they really wanted to do that, which I doubt that they would do.
But and Dakota,
yeah,
her back in there.
But it's just like, bro, this goes back to what I was just about to say. This is a hot take. I recently feel Raquel should beat Lyra Valkyria. I'd rather Raquel as champion than Lyra Valkyria right now.
That is a hot take. I don't know how I feel about that.
And if going back to what we were saying earlier, if Liv wasn't going to be tag team champion, if you didn't want to be in the world championship picture, you could have put Lyra Valkyria versus Liv Morgan at WrestleMania.
That would have been a very good match.
That would have been a good feud. Lyra Valkyria has a decent challenger. This gives Liv a singles opportunity again, and it gives her a championship to go after for.
And then if you want to have Liv win the belt, it would add more credibility to the Women's IC Championship.
Exactly. And it pays off the feud that we were building last year. What happened? Liv beat Becky, and at the time, we had Lyra Valkyria just brought up. It seems like we were teasing Lyra and Liv. We never paid off that feud, so we could have paid off the feud right here.
Yeah.
But so it's just like, bro, what are we doing? There's no excuse that you're not building up Lyra Valkyria to do something. That's why I feel like and this goes to the women's tag titles. I don't even know if the women's tag titles make Mania this year. I
I
don't.
doubt they will.
Because it's like, despite Liv and Morgan and Raquel, who are probably right now, I feel like the best option as tag champions, but they have nobody to face at WrestleMania. They have no tag teams that they have built up to look like they deserve to be in that match. All of the
Exactly.
tag teams are non-existent. The tag team division for the women is dead. What do you do with that women's tag team titles? You know what I think they do? Dip them down to NXT.
Have them defend that Stand and Deliver.
And let them lose it to maybe like Sol Ruka and Zarya.
Yeah, they're building that team up.
And if you wanted to do tag team, you could do literally Roxanne and Cora Jade.
Or you could do the Metaphor Girls.
Exactly. So there's literally 3 teams that I've named that literally are going on in NXT, plus other ones that we don't know about. You got Julia and Stephanie McCourt that could be teams teaming up at some point. You can do that and let it float between the NXT girls. Maybe they make appearances on the main roster.
You got Fatal Influence.
Exactly. That's at least that's at least 6 teams right there, bro.
Oh, you got the stable, Gigi Dolan, Shotzi, and the other chick,
Tatum Paxley. Then, if you wanted to, if you have Kalani turn heel and align herself with Jada Parker, that's another team.
It's a money team. That'd be fire.
That is a whole 17. That is a whole division right there.
All in NXT.
And the women on the main roster can focus solely on the singles titles.
Because I can only think of one team on the main roster that isn't Liv and Raquel, and that's the Pure Fusion
Collective. I was going to say the Party Girls. You got the Party Girls.
Oh, yeah, where have they been?
On SmackDown.
Yeah, they're on SmackDown.
You got other people on SmackDown. You have Candice LeRae and Nia. That's a team you can put in there. You have who else? Like, bro, I seen what the plan is for WrestleMania, and I don't want it at all. The plan is doing Liv and Raquel versus not Nia, versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. I don't want to see.
I don't want to see
match.
that. No.
Now Alexa Bliss versus Liv Morgan 1-on-1. Sign me up. Sign me up for that feud. Sign me up for that match. Those two can have a good match. But tag team, no.
Yeah, and especially a story as pivotal as Alexa Bliss joining the Wyatt Six. That's something that you should build up. That's something that should take time.
Don't rush that.
Don't rush it just being like, we're gonna trance you and we're gonna bring you into our family. No.
Please don't do that.
You build that up. You have Alexa be reluctant to join that group again.
And you can have Alexa Bliss be on her own. She doesn't need the Wyatt Six. Be honest.
Exactly.
What if you did put Alexa Bliss against Charlotte? They have history. I would love to see that match. Or her versus Tiffany Stratton. You could put Alexa Bliss in the U.S. title picture, gives her a title that she has not faced for yet, a title that she has not won yet. She could be an anchor for that division because you have a big name on that brand that can carry that championship and give you subpar to decent matches that people can be invested in. I'm fine with. But if we're just chugging women together for the sake of chugging people together. Oh, and speaking of tag teams that they're throwing together, they're about to put Natalya and Maxine Dupree into a tag team.
What?
Yes.
No.
They're about to put those two together because they've been having some segments in the background while we've been having Raw. I've been seeing it in the background. Those two have been communicating for the last 2 weeks. Bro, no.
I don't want to do that shit.
Please, WWE, don't do it. Please don't. No.
Please do not.
No, don't do that. Please. No.
Don't want to see that shit.
Then we have Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre.
Boring.
We're going to get that. I don't want to see it. I would be almost. Oh, here's another person you might throw in the U.S. title picture: Braun Strowman.
Yeah,
That's a title he
put him
hasn't
in
won.
there.
Put him in there because he's been feuding with Carmelo Hayes as of recently.
Fun fact: if Braun Strowman wins the U.S. title, he is a Grand Slam champion.
Same thing for Drew. That's the only title he hasn't won, the U.S. Same
Yep.
thing goes for Cody Rhodes. Never been a U.S. champion.
Big E, if he ever comes back, U.S.
Exactly. And speaking of tag teams, I think the SmackDown tag division is going to have a multi-man because you have like Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo, who are there look like they're teasing to break away at some point because Andrade's been talking to him. So that might be a thing at some point. But you can put those two as a team in the mix. You got Pretty Deadly, you got DIY, you got Street Profits, you got Motor City.
Yeah,
That they've been having compelling matches on SmackDown.
that's a ladder match
Raw,
right there.
Raw, on the other hand, I don't think make Mania at all. They have not built up a single storyline that's Mania worthy, in my personal opinion. They haven't. They have not. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, Raw's tag division is dead. I don't want to see those tag titles on my WrestleMania card.
Don't put it. Just leave them alone. They could be on the Raw after Mania or the Raw before Mania. In my personal opinion, you could do that. That's fine. That's totally fine. But
Yeah,
then you got AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Match is gonna be good. I do think that match is gonna be good. Logan
AJ should
Paul
win. AJ should win.
clearly AJ needs to win. And I've said this about none other than AJ. His chances of becoming a world champion again are a lot better on Raw than it is to SmackDown.
Yep.
And when LA Knight gets drafted to Raw, his chances increase becoming world champion. Imagine LA Knight becomes a heel and he faces Jey Uso.
Yeet versus yeah. Oh, that'd be awesome.
And and have LA Knight be the one to defeat him for the world title, or if AJ becomes a
would
heel
be
and he
good.
takes the title. But I think you just turned him his face. So, realistically, I would not be opposed if AJ won Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that either.
The two guys that I would love to see, or three guys I would say that I would love to see win Money in the Bank, this year: AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Dominic Mysterio.
Finn
I think
Balor,
those
AJ
three.
Styles, Kevin Owens.
Or if you want to put an up and comer or a new guy in there, a person that people would consider a dark horse, Carmelo Hayes. I think he fits that moniker.
A lot of people wanted him to win that last year.
But nope, they gave it to Drew. But I think Finn Balor would. I think Finn Balor. I'm not saying he can't become a world champion because he realistically can. But it's just like I don't know if he can win it one-on-one. You know what I mean? I feel like he needs a reason to insert himself in that scenario. And WWE did say they have huge plans for him in 2025. What better way to do that?
You can't listen to the dirt sheets
You
anymore.
can't.
Unless they turn Finn face. I don't think he's ever going to be a world champion again. I think he needs to turn face again.
Yeah, because he was, or at least or at least let him be how he was in NXT in 2019. He wasn't
be the prince.
He doesn't have to be fully a face. He doesn't have to be fully a heel. He was in between. He was just being him. Mm-hmm. Oh, here's a good one. Queen of the Ring is happening again this year. Could you imagine Balor winning King of the Ring? Prince Devitt, King Balor.
King Balor. We talked about that a couple of months ago.
That
the
would
prince
be
becoming the
king.
It would be.
And then usually with the whole stipulation, the winner gets the opportunity at the world title on their brand at SummerSlam. Jey Uso, Finn Balor.
Yeah.
There you go. Finn Balor can finally get his win at SummerSlam, the same place he wanted, the same place he was pretty much, it makes sense. Or if you want a shocking factor, What if Dominic won?
Ooh.
That would be. Could you imagine how over Jey Uso is, and Dominic cashed in on him and took the world title? Oh my God!
I'd be the only person in the stadium and in the IWC cheering that.
I would be cheering.
I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, Dominic being a world champion."
People, I just would love to see the IWC's reaction. They was like, "You gave, oh, why did you do that? Jey Uso just won the Royal Rumble. He won the world title against Gunther Mania. He's been having the breakout performances. He's been over the last 3 years, and you had him losing it to Dominic Mysterio."
It's
Bro,
like Cry More Kid.
that would be so fun to see that happen.
It would be.
And then you have, I just don't know how some like, and then when Mania next year, there's a lot of things that's open right now. Like, I think with Mania being, not Mania being in Saudi, the Royal Rumble being in Saudi, shockingly enough, starting off at 12 o'clock, noon. Oh my gosh. Noon for the Royal Rumble. That's early. But
That is
hey,
way
it
too
is what it is. But then it's like, to just think about it. I think we do see Bianca turn heel. I think it's safe to say we do see her turn heel. Maybe she
Yeah.
does win the title at Mania.
Jade wins the Royal Rumble.
No. Here's the thing. I'm going to take you on a ride. Now, we were just talking about this woman earlier in the show. And it's bound to happen. She's going to win one of them, whether it's the Rumble or a Chamber. I feel like if we're going to see her as if Bianca's a heel, I do think at some point Liv will turn back to being a face. Now, if they built it up right, I would love to see these two face each other because I think these two actually had good chemistry based off the little tease. Based off the little tease they gave us in the Chamber, I want to see more from these two.
Well, they had a match before, and it was a very good one.
I think that was in 2021, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought they did one in 2024 where...
No.
Oh, that was Io, my bad.
We only seen Liv and Bianca face one time, and that was in 2021. Neither one of these women are what they were back in 2021. Let me take you on the ride. Where's WrestleMania next year? New Orleans.
Oh.
There's a lot of history in New Orleans. WrestleMania 30, the Undertaker streak end to Brock Lesnar. Should have been Roman Reigns, but it was Brock Lesnar. WrestleMania 34, Asuka lost her streak to none other than Charlotte. Asuka should have won, but still. We have Bianca win this year. She's the champion. She goes in throughout the rest of the year as champion, right? Goes into Mania next year as champion. Liv Morgan wins the Royal Rumble. She wastes no time. She says, me and you have never fought for a world championship. Me and you never really faced on the big lights or a big stage before. I'm choosing you at WrestleMania. I want to test myself to prove that I belong in the main event by facing one of the best that this women's division has to offer. And she picks her at WrestleMania. You have those two have a back and forth match. Liv Morgan beats her clean, ends the streak. You build up a new star in Liv Morgan even more.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too bad.
Because honestly, the two match people want to see next year Mania is either Liv versus Bianca or Liv versus Charlotte. And I don't want to, and I would love to see Liv versus Charlotte, but knowing how Charlotte is, she might politic her way to want to keep that belt.
That doesn't work for me, brother.
But there are plans to potentially do Charlotte and Liv at SummerSlam because SummerSlam is in Jersey and Liv is from Jersey.
Yeah.
So there's a possibility she might get moved over to SmackDown. We do that match at SummerSlam this year. So the only way they do that is potentially we have her win Queen of the Ring. Might do Queen of the Ring because they set up that. People even threw out the idea, what if Liv Morgan won Money in the Bank this year again? And she has a better run. What if Liv Morgan did win Money in the Bank and she didn't win the Rumble or Chamber, but she pulled a Seth Rollins? I wouldn't mind that. Depends on how you book it, but I'd rather see her earn that world title opportunity, not it just being handed to her, having her earn it. Have her go through that gauntlet match. Because the last 2 years, she has kind of somewhat well, at least this year and the 2023, she's been the Iron Woman. In 2023, she came out in the first two. She lasted all the way to the end. And this year, she kind of lasted all the way to the very end, just about. And I think she went to like the final 7. So it's like she can go the distance. Have her maybe pull a gauntlet, maybe pull a Rey Mysterio when she comes out at number 1 and number 2, last the entire way, punch her ticket. You built up a star in the Rumble. You built up a star going into Mania next year. There you go. And I think it's safe to say next year we're going to see Roman Rock cross paths. That match has to happen. It needs to happen.
Yeah, I'm shocked it didn't happen this year.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. I'm going to make a bold prediction next year for your world title matches, at least for one of them, at least for the men and women. Liv wins the Rumble for the women. Sami wins it for the men. Sami faces for the world title. Liv faces for the world title.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, Sami is going to get cheered heavily at Rumble next year in Saudi. And if you want to be honest, Liv is going to probably get cheered heavily too. Because if you want to be honest, her biggest moments have happened in Saudi. She won the Crown Jewel Championship against Nia Jax in Saudi. She won the world title against Becky Lynch in Saudi, both of which happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
Why not give her another big moment in Saudi? She wins the Royal Rumble match.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad.
I think that's the route we're going to go. And I think the test that we have, I think looking back at it, I think they're testing Liv Morgan. If you want to be honest, I think the test was last year is, can she carry a title? Can she have a good, decent match? Or whatever the case is. The test is this year, can she have interesting, compelling matches with the big stars that warrant her being in the main event scene? Can she have these main event level matches?
Whose name isn't Rhea Ripley.
Please don't do that anymore. Please don't.
I don't want to see them even in the same building anymore. That feud has just been blown out of the water.
Could you imagine this? Could you imagine next year's Royal Rumble, the final 2 is probably or the final 3 might be like Liv and Rhea or something, and someone else?
Raquel.
You know what this needs to happen? Liv needs to eliminate Rhea for revenge from 2023. Get back. She said, get her out of here, and she points at the sign.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Because I think if you want to be honest, Liv is one of your top stars on Raw right now. Not even just on Raw, but in the women's division as a whole.
Well, that's not saying much. Women's division in the main roster is dead.
Yeah, it's only a few people. Like, it's Io, Charlotte, Tiffany, Liv, Becky when she comes back, Bianca, Rhea.
That's it.
That's it. You haven't built, and you could. I think I said Io, but
you said Io.
But who else do you realistically have?
Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey. Jade Cargill, she's gonna get there.
She's getting there, but not yet.
I don't think she needs to be in a world title match next year either. I'd say wait till WrestleMania 43 or 44.
I'd say that too.
43, 44, I think give her ready. Let her get in there, build up her credibility. Let maybe this time next year, going into Mania 41, not 41, 42, maybe she's competing for a mid-card title.
Mm-hmm.
Let that be her route. Maybe she wins a mid-card title this year and she's champion going into that next year. There you go. I can buy into that. But world title right now, I can't. This is why I say she should have realistically been in NXT before being called up to the main roster. They brought her up too early to the main roster.
I would say that.
And it's crazy to think with Stephanie McCool, right? She even said in the interview, the WWE asked her, did she want to go to the main roster or NXT? She was considering main roster, but she said, no, I want to go to NXT. I want to get better. I want to improve on certain things like her language and everything. So when she does come to the roster, she is ready. And you can see how it's benefiting her and it's paying off. She won the North American title. She won the NXT Women's Championship. It's paying off. Jordan Grace is getting in there with some big name, with some potential future stars, with Roxanne Perez. And
Yeah.
also, NXT next week, I think we're seeing Chelsea Green versus Sol Ruka for the US title.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, what do we? I mean, I get it. She pinned her, but
The
come on now.
U.S. title's already dead. Oh my god.
Like,
It's already
seriously.
dead.
Yeah, man. But yeah, you guys, that is pretty much our episode. We pretty much ran through just about everything. We're probably gonna do another episode next week, you guys, as we do head into WrestleMania. Maybe we'll try to fantasy book WrestleMania 42 since we did talk about some things for WrestleMania 42. So this gives us a week to prep some matches that we could probably put together. We'll talk about why they think they're gonna happen and all that good stuff. So you guys tune in for that next week's episode. But Willie, do you have anything to share before we head out for the day?
Yeah, be sure to check out my YouTube channel, Will's Wrestling Corner. I think if you search up Willie Does Wrestling, it'll still pop up anyway.
Yeah.
We just dropped WWE 2K25 Universe Mode episode
Mm-hmm.
1. A lot of very decent matches on that card as well. We also talked about Jon Moxley and Cope being run back again. It was an absolute shit show what they're doing right there. And be sure to check out my socials as well, Twitter, Willie MYT, because in 2 weeks, your boy officially becomes a wrestling commentator. So I can't wait to share how that's gonna be. Oh, I am so excited. Oh,
man. That's a big congratulations right there.
It's a very big
For everybody
deal.
who comes through this, everybody who watches this, and you got see this, go congratulate Will's Wrestling Corner for being a commentator. That is a huge
dream come
deal.
true.
That is
Yeah.
a dream come true. Because I already know he's gonna be on his Jim Ross out there, talking his mess with some wrestlers. I know it's gonna be funny. So definitely, if you get some clips from that, you're gonna have to send it to me because I'm gonna probably want to react to that. But yeah,
Yeah,
go
definitely.
subscribe to him if you guys haven't already. He's been going crazy on the 2K content. Myself, we've been going crazy on the content with My Rise. We've been doing intergender series. It's been really fun doing a lot of these matches. I've done CM Punk and Becky Lynch. I've done AJ and Charlotte. I've done Rock and Liv. I've done John Cena and Bianca. Like, y'all go tune in. I've been doing a lot, and I recently even did Nia Jax and Oba Femi, which will be up very, very soon.
Oh,
I know
gonna be a good one. Yeah.
So you guys go tune in. 2K content has definitely been at an all-time high right now, especially with them adding the intergender aspect. It gives us as creators more like free will of what to do, trying to book maybe Royal Rumbles, maybe chamber matches, tag matches, and all that good stuff. It gives us more stuff to bring for you guys outside of just, the podcast forums and, our regular Q&As. It gives us more to do sometimes when we just might not have the idea in our head that one day and we have something to fall back on. So y'all support us in any way you can. I'm on the road to 2,000. I'm at 1,051 right now. So we're trying to get to that by WrestleMania, but 10,000 ultimately by the end of 2025. So y'all go subscribe to my channel, to Will's channel, and hopefully this week, by this time next week, Wolf will be back and we will talk WrestleMania 42. We will be doing fantasy booking WrestleMania 42 a year in advance. And then maybe as we get into WrestleMania season next year, we'll come back to this and we'll react to see how spot on we were or how far and dumb some of our predictions were. So I think that'll be something really fun to do. So you guys go subscribe to our channel if you guys haven't. My channel, Wolf's channel, Wolf's Wrestling Den. Y'all go subscribe to him. He's at get him to 200 subscribers. He's at 130-ish right now. So get him to 200 if you guys haven't already. But from myself,
Wolf Den
Willie,
Wrestling Podcast.
Exactly. So y'all go subscribe to him as well if you guys haven't. But for myself, so Will's Wrestling Corner. Hope everybody has had a great stream with us. Come back next week because we'll do WrestleMania 42. But peace out. Too sweet. And we will see you guys in the next